Hello, hello. Okay, so I'm about to do a presentation on human design. This is basically all I know up to this point. So I'm going to go over each piece right quick for us. I am going to go kind of fast through this, so feel free to pause, rewind, screenshot, and just reach out to me if you want a copy of the whole presentation so you could break it down, copy and paste, whatever you need to do. But I'm just going to go through and kind of explain what I know. And yeah, let's get started. So, human design. So, if you're here now, then you're likely already familiar with human design to an extent. Yes. Okay, human design is a mix of a bunch of different modalities to create a soul quote unquote blueprint or type. It mixes modern science with ancient traditions like astrology, I Ching, the Kabbalah, and the chakras to map your unique energy blueprint. I got those quotes from Google, so forgive me. So first things first, this is the what you're going to see when you look up human design. You have the head center from top to bottom, head center at the top. Then you have the ajna, third eye. The head center is the inspiration, anxiety, mental pressure. The ajna, conceptualization. The throat center, communication, manifestation, action. Then you have the G center, the self, direction, love. It's also known as the identity center. Then you have the heart center, the ego, willpower. Splenic center, intuition, instinct, fear, immune system. Then you have the solar plexus center, emotions, feelings, nervousness. The sacral center, sexuality, life, death, and then the root center, life, fuel, pressure, stress, and depression. So when one of these centers are defined, it means that you have enough gates in it activated to where it becomes defined. The gates are the little numbers that you don't see right now, but they're all through each one of these centers. So the centers are usually based on chakras, but as you can see, there's more than the main seven. So this extends over into, ah, crap. I just drew a blank. I think it's nine. Hold on. Yes, do apologize. And then through here, you'll see this is the channels. Um, we will talk about the energy channels in this session. We will talk about a bit about more on the back end side. And then I'm going to split this up into two teachings. This one, I'm going to talk a bit about like the back end side, kind of what defines a line, what are all those numbers on the side of your chart, and just really getting a good idea of what makes up the personality. Okay, so important information to remember, there are 64 gates and 6 lines. These are activated based on your astrology chart. So there are 64 little dots in those centers I was just showing you guys, and 6 lines. The lines are the decimal point behind the numbers that you see at the top of your chart. Okay, these are activated based on your astrology chart. Anything on the left, I can't remember the color they used to indicate this. I do apologize. I should have added it into this presentation for us. And then on the right is, that's the unconscious. I apologize. The left is the unconscious, which is that internal design, and the right is the conscious, which is the personality. What's on the left is as you can see, it's all the planets, the sun, the moon, the earth placement, and I think it goes all the way through the nodes, all the way down to the north nodes, north and south nodes. So the left side is the sky 88 days before you were born. This is the exact moment your soul integrated with your physical body in the womb. And the right is the exact time of birth. So we use the left side, which is the subconscious, unconscious design, and combine it with the conscious personality, which is at the exact time of birth, to give us a human design blueprint. The numbers before the decimal is the gate that is activated based on your placement. So those are those little tiny dots that you see. And then the decimal is the line. The top two, which is the Earth and the Sun, are the most important. Okay, so these are the numbers I'm talking about. So this is that left side, the 88 days before you were born, and this is the right side, and these are the gates. Those little numbers are the gates on the inside. There are 5 blueprints, aka types. So we have generator, manifestor, projector, or the reflector. And here's the chart again so you can keep a visual. So I'm actually not going to get into these today. Sad, I know, but it's because these are like a blood type, for lack of better words. It's the type that is made up of all of the personalities on the inside, and the type is kind of the title, because there's so many little things that go into it. So we're going to break it down from the back end first, and then in part 2, I will get into each individual gate, which is going to be a bit, and then I'll explain these, which if you're up to this point in human design, then you likely already know about what these kind of are, So let's go from within and see what we come up with. All right, so the I Ching hexagram lines, those are the lines that you see with the little slash in the middle. That's what's behind the decimal point. It's numbers 1 through 6. Okay, hold on. Okay, we should be fixed now. Okay, so the hexagram lines. These are the lines 1 through 6 that represent 6 layers of the archetype. Everybody has 2 prominent lines in their chart. Each point has a decimal 1 through 6, which is activated by your astrological placements. Number 1 is the investigator. Whoa, hello. What did I just do? There we go. We are back. Number 2, the hermit. Number 3, the martyr, experimenter. 4, the opportunist. 5, the heretic. And 6, the role model. So feel free to take a quick screenshot of this if you'd like. So we have the investigator, introspection, empathy. The hermit, projection, democrat. The martyr, trial and error, adaptation. The opportunist, friendliness, networker. Heretic, projection. The general. The role model, optimist, peacemaker. Mind you, there's not one that's better than the other. It's all about our experience and where our placements are. And even though you may have 2 that are prominent in your chart, there's still a decimal point behind each placement that you have. So these are all activated throughout your chart. So the hexagram, so the 1 through 3 are the lower trigrams. These are inwardly focused, and their survival and individual processes. And the 4 through 6 are upper, they're outwardly focused, transpersonal, concerned with how we connect and influence others. So the lines, just a reminder, the left is conscious, the right is unconscious. They usually show up like a fraction for the prominent ones. The first line is what you consciously know about yourself. And the second line is how other people experience you. So even if you don't notice it yourself, sometimes you do notice it. So it's not to say that you don't notice it. Yeah. So the first line is the investigator. It's all about foundation. It's the base, the starting point, the bedrock. People with a strong first line are natural investigators. They need to understand things deeply to build a solid foundation of knowledge before they feel secure. The second line is the hermit. They are the natural. They have innate talent about being gifted at something without even trying. The second line doesn't always see its own gifts, though. It's like a hermit hiding away in a cave, content to be left alone. The second line is here to be recognized, to be drawn out by others who see its potential. The third line is the martyr, the experimenter. It's here to learn through trial and error, to bump into life and discover what works and what doesn't work. This is not a line of perfection, it's a line of process. The third line is resilient, adaptable, and practical. The fourth line is the opportunist. It's all about relationships. It's the networker, the connector, the one who builds its life through its connections with others. This is a line of influence, of opportunity that comes through people. The fourth line thrives in community and friendship and in mutual support. Lines 5 and 6, the heretic is the problem solver. It's here to project solutions, to offer practical guidance to the world. This can be a heavy burden, as the fifth line often feels misunderstood, yet it also is a line of great potential, capable of bringing transformative change. The sixth line, the role model, is unique. It's the only line that operates in three distinctive stages over time. Okay. Forgive me because I'm not a professional. So I'm kind of like still learning about the role models. I'm still learning about archetypes. But in the first stage, from birth to the Saturn return, which is about 27 years old, it lives like a third line, experimenting and learning through trial and error. The second stage is from the Saturn return to your Chiron return. It steps back to observe and integrate the experiences. And in the third stage, which is post Chiron return, it comes down as a role model, embodying leadership and authenticity. The sixth line is here to show others what's possible when you live true to yourself. So the sixth line, I feel like they're just here for the experience, or the whatever's activated in your chart that has that sixth line activated is definitely here for the experience. So the next part we're going to get into are the authorities. So if you look at the chart, you'll see that there's some sort of type of authority. This is how you make decisions. So stay with me here. The line is basically like your subconscious, unconscious, and conscious personality. And the authorities is kind of how you use what's activated in your gates to make decisions. Basically, how you use your mind based on the energy that flows through your archetype. So there are 7 authorities. None of the mind centers will be an authority because that leads to overthinking. Though there is a mental authority, but it's not really considered like the ajna or the crown authority because that leads to overthinking, pros and cons, and too much logic, which we definitely use our mind authority. I mean, we definitely use our mind throughout the day. The reason they don't use that as an authority is because they're referring to what works with your mind to make a decision, okay? So we have 7 authorities. The first one, emotional authority, the solar plexus. They experience high and low emotions, and the rule is to never make a decision in the moment. Emotional authority, since they go through highs and lows, it's really advised to avoid just making a quick decision for the emotional authority solar plexus folks. Next is sacral authority. These are going to only be our MG, which is manifesting generator and generators. That instinct gut feeling. The rule is to listen to your gut, the immediate yes or no. The sacral authority, they're going to fill it out immediately. They're going to know. When they start backtracking on that, that's when they're going to possibly mess up their decision. The splenic authority. Act on your intuitive physical feeling. It's a quiet feeling. These splenic authorities have like a feeling in their bones type of thing. It's like very subtle, very quiet, but it's intuitive in their bones. The ego and the heart authority, you are called to act upon how things make you feel, not how it makes other people feel. So the heart authority, it's time to focus in on how things make you feel rather than what people are telling you to say. Okay. The self-projected authority, they usually make the best decisions by talking things out. That is their rule, talk it out. If you're self-projected and you're having a hard time making a decision, find somebody you can trust to talk to, or just talk it out loud in the car until you get to it. Write it out, talk it out, whatever you need to do. Mental authority, rely on logic because they don't get a gut feeling. And this is what I was explaining a minute ago, is how they have a mental authority, but those are because they're just limited to not having any other authority uh, unlocked. Okay. And then I know you guys were wondering, well, what about the reflectors if they don't have any gates open? They have the lunar authority. They must work with the cycles of the moon because it moves through all 64 gates in a lunar cycle, and that's for our reflectors only. Okay, so the definition is how energy flows. So in between all of the centers, you'll see the lines that connect them all. I know I have a lot on the screen right now. Feel free to break it down yourself, but I am going to skim through it for the most part. I'm going to try to summarize it so it makes sense. If you need to come back to this, feel free to, like I said, save this page. That single definition, that's going to be energy flowing straight through all the channels, no splits, nothing, just straight through. This is in a single unbroken circuit, energy moves freely through your entire system, and you process information quickly. The split definition is two different systems of defined centers. They're working perfectly on their own, like having two engines running in your body with a broken bridge between them. They naturally look for people or environments that provide that missing gate or to channel or somebody who bridges the split. Mind you, usually these definitions, this flow of energy is usually how you attract a partner or coworkers or collaborators. It's based upon how that energy flows, what you need, how somebody else can help you. Now we have the triple split definition. I have not seen this, except I think I might have seen it once. And I've been on human design for about 5 years now. So that's saying something, you know. It's usually mostly single or split, and I'm sure for the reflectors they have the no definition. So that triple split, it's the unconnected groups of defined centers. Processing information takes more time because your energy has to jump between 3 different islands. You thrive by being in public spaces like coffee shops or moving through different groups of friends, which naturally bridges your splits without you absorbing their energy permanently. Because you cannot. You can't absorb their energy permanently. All right, so the quadruple split, the rarest one, you have 8 or 9 defined centers broken into 4 completely. And when we say broken, that means there's like a gap in between the connections, okay? And that means there's like just an energy center like, hi, I'm defined, but I'm by myself, you know? So you have 8 or 9 defined centers broken into 4 completely separate, unconnected groups. You need a lot of time to process decisions. You prefer deep one-on-one relationships rather than large crowds to help tie your complex energy together. If you're watching this, please forgive me for my stuttering. Apparently, it is past my bedtime. Anyways, last but not least, we have no definition. 0 defined centers have no channels colored in. Your chart is completely white, which is exclusive to reflectors. You have no fixed inner energy circuit and instead sample, mirror, and amplify the energy of the environments and the people around you, which is cool. That's a superpower, right? You just go with the flow. All right, so like I said, I'm going to come back for a part 2, which is going to be a breakdown of 64 gates, and then I'm going to get into the archetype. So let me know if you have any questions on this if you're watching this. I'm going to go ahead and post this in the course that we built, and I'm going to post it on YouTube. So if you're here, if this is your first time meeting me, I'm Allie. I teach astral projection and apparently now human design. So here we are. Give me a like and a subscription, a subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you. Goodbye.